We're a little over a week away from the 2025 NBA trade deadline, and on today's video, we're going to react to Bobby Marks and his ESPN trade deadline guide for every single team. He shares an overview of the Knicks' plan, and I thought some interesting nuggets were brought up, like when they could go out and sign someone on to that final roster spot, and we'll tell you what they could do in the NBA buyout market, as well as Bobby Marks listing a trade idea for the New York Knicks to bolster their bench. Before we dive into today's show, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are 495 subs away from our goal of 59,000 subscribers. If you love the Knicks and you bleed orange and blue and you want free videos every single day and the number one place on YouTube to watch a Knicks game with thousands of Knicks fans, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Let's dive into it. Reacting to Bobby Marks of ESPN and his trade deadline guide for every single team. I just want to start with the quote that he had, really with the overarching overview of this team. New York should be concerned about the workload of its starting five. Bridges and Josh Hart lead the league in total minutes played, and New York is the only team with 5 players in the top 32. As a result, the Knicks reserves rank last in minutes per game. Robinson's potential return would strengthen the Knicks bench if he can return before the trade deadline. New York will have to decide whether he has more value playing with the current roster or in a trade. Because they are below the second apron, the Knicks are allowed to aggregate Robinson's $14.3 million salary with another player. However, because of the second apron, the Knicks are not allowed to take back more than $535,000 in salary. I said this before, and you know what? I really do believe it. Everything teeters on Mitchell Robinson right now. Like Bobby Marks said, the Knicks have to ask themselves the question, is there more value in keeping Mitchell Robinson in the hopes that he can get healthy and stay healthy and be productive off the bench, or is it more valuable to move him in a trade to benefit your bench in that way? Really, if he is healthy or not, I do not know, but the Knicks are going to have to make a decision if it is worth keeping him or trading him. Look, I know a lot of people love Mitchell Robinson, and I got a lot of love for him, and I will never forget, and I will never not appreciate what he did in the 2023 NBA playoffs in round 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He dominated all-star Jarrett Allen. That final game of the series, he was unbelievable. His fingerprints were all over that series. He was a dominant force. I don't know if that player still exists. Robinson is a solid player when healthy. And right now, his worst ability is availability. And really, in the NBA and any professional sport, one of the most important abilities is availability. When healthy, he is an impactful player. And he could provide a boost to the bench where they lack. They're not nearly the rebounding team they were the last couple of years. They don't impose their will on the glass like they have. They're in the middle of the pack when it comes to offensive rebounds, and they're at the bottom 10 of the league when it comes to allowing offensive rebounds. Robinson could benefit the Knicks in a role off the bench. But can he get healthy? Can he stay healthy? And does that guy still exist? I'm not so sure. The tradable assets the New York Knicks have right now, they have just one first-round pick that they can move. That will open up more down the line due to the stipend rule. But you have the first-round pick that is owned. You own it. It comes from the Washington Wizards. It's top 10 protected. If it does not convey, it rolls to top 9 protected next year. If it does not convey then, it will then be 2 second-round picks. You have 8 tradable second-round picks from 2025 to 2028, and they have the ability to offer first-round pick swaps in 2026 and 2030. Some more information on the Knicks from Marks. The Knicks have an open roster spot, but are not allowed to sign a player until March 1st. The Knicks right now are $17.5 million over the luxury tax and are projected to pay a $36.3 million penalty. Ariel Hukporti cannot be traded until February 5th, so right before the trade deadline. And Landry Shamet cannot be traded at all because he signed a contract late in December, and the window of his non-tradable days will extend past the trade deadline. Before we talk about that deal that Bobby Marks mocked up in his trade deadline guide, do you think the Knicks make a trade at the deadline? I think for the last 3 years, they've made a trade at least in the prior 48 hours to the deadline. They did, or at least in the last 2 years, they made the deal for Josh Hart the day before the deadline, and they made the Bojan Bogdanovic trade last year. Do they make another trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no. We're going to break down that trade idea, and it's one that I actually like and I am interested in, and it would definitely bolster this bench, and you would actually be giving up somebody that doesn't really play on this team right now. We'll tell you more about that in a second, but if you're looking for Knicks tickets, cheap Knicks tickets, the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed, download the Game Time app and use our promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. I've used all of the ticketing apps out there, but I no longer do, and I only use Game Time because it is the best of the best. They guarantee that you get the best seats for the lowest price. You get to see your seat view in the app, so it's easy to decide which tickets you want to buy. You get to access your tickets from your phone, so it's easy to get in to the event, and if you flake out last second, it's easy to resell your tickets as well. Lowest price guaranteed. Last-minute tickets, they specialize in that, and flash deals. The app will literally send you a push notification when tickets you have looked at or just best seats are going on for an event you've shown interest in. Use that all-in pricing feature. That way the price you see is the price you pay. And use that Game Time Picks feature to make it that much more easy to go see your favorite team perform. Again, it's more than just NBA games. You can go to any sporting event. You can go to concerts. You can go to theater events and so much more. So download the app, create an account, and use that promo code CHATSPORTS. What time is it? It's game time. All right, ESPN's Bobby Marks. Here is his trade idea. Guerschon Yabusele. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Going to the New York Knicks with the Knicks, sending Jericho Sims. He said in his write-up a 2025 first-round pick, which is more favorable at Boston and Memphis. Thing is, the Knicks don't have a first-round pick from Boston or Memphis, so I'm going to assume he meant a second-round pick and then a 2028 second-round pick, the one that is less favorable of Indy and Phoenix. So Jericho Sims and 2 second-round picks for Guerschon Yabusele, who had a great summer in the Olympics, and he found himself the Sixers ended up buying out his contract with his team, and he spent the season there. Right now, he makes $2.08 million, so the Knicks are going to make a trade. They got to send out more than that because they are hard-capped, meaning you cannot send out less in a trade than you accept. You got to send out more than you accept. And the Knicks, they would be able to do that because the 29-year-old, 6'8", 265-pound forward makes less than $2.1 million per year. This is a guy I was actually interested in this summer for the Knicks to sign for some depth and some size and some brute force off the bench. Unfortunately, he went to Philly, and he's played really good this year in 42 games played, 26.1 minutes a night. He's giving you 10.3 points per game. He's averaging 5.5 rebounds as well. He's someone that, even though he is just 6'8", he plays a hell of a lot bigger. He's got a long wingspan, and we told you he's 265 pounds. So this is someone that can impose his will on the game, on the glass. And he's an underrated scorer as well, shooting nearly 50% from the field and almost 40% from downtown. You could see his shot chart here. Shout out to three-step basketball. Shooting 41% from that right corner, 53% from the right wing, 42% from the left wing. Doesn't really operate in the mid-range that well, but he finishes well around the basket, 64.6%. So he could shoot it. He could finish around the rim. I'd say he's an average defender, and he's someone that can handle the ball a little bit as well. And I think the Knicks could use a little bit of an enforcer, someone that could put some fear into other teams' hearts. That way, Trae Young doesn't roll the dice on the logo, and Isaiah Stewart doesn't clap his mouth at Madison Square Garden. You're giving up Jericho Sims, who, say what you want about Jericho, for a third center, he's not the worst in the world, and he is still young, and I know Tibbs doesn't trust him, but I also know that Tibbs likes his upside as well and his effort, and he does the dirty work. I think Yabusele could do some of that stuff as well. You are giving up 2 second-round picks. Would you make this trade? If you're Leon Rose and Daryl Morey called you up and said, we'll give you Yabusele, just give us Sims and 2 picks. Because the Sixers are most likely not going to be able to sign him because he'll be a free agent, and they're up against the aprons as well, and he'll be getting more money than what he got this year. So that may be the same situation for the New York Knicks as well. Would you do the deal? A, accept. D, for decline. I would accept this deal. I would. I think Yabusele would be a good rotational piece for the Knicks. All the reasons we mentioned: size, strength, rebounding, scoring ability. It would just add to your bench right now that kind of lacks that legit punch. I do think, though, if you make this trade, you should have another trade follow. He plays the 4. He can play the 5. But I don't love the idea of having 6'8" Precious and 6'8" Yabusele come off the bench, and those are your only two bigs that really play, unless we know Mitchell Robinson is coming back healthy. Because to be honest with you guys, I've just kind of programmed my mind that Mitch isn't coming back this year, and I'm going to be pleasantly surprised if he does. I would make this trade, and then I would look to make another trade to maybe go get a center or a wing or something like that. But I like this buy low, low risk, high reward move. I think improving on the margins is what Leon Rose is going to look to do when we get to that trade deadline on February 8th. We'll keep you up to date on the channel when it comes to all things Knicks, but also on my Instagram and my Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up, and let's go Knicks.